Hi there, lovely people. What's going on? Good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. 6 a.m. here on the dot. Today we'll be talking about Tom Ford fragrance. Okay, one Tom Ford fragrance which I really wanted to review, and these are like not my bottles. This is not my bottle, and I'm very thankful to Dr. Jeffrey for buying this fragrance. He buys some rare gems. I have couple more fragrances of his that I have to review. But today we'll be looking at Tom Ford Man. Okay, Tom Ford for men or men. This is testimonial, so I don't have a box. So I'll let you see the bottle and talk about this perfume. So few stories with this fragrance. Tom Ford basically has it's a designer, okay, but they do have their more luxurious line like Private Blend or something. Tom Ford, like their more upper class niche line, but people usually consider them as designer house. Some people say Tom Fords are niche quality, which I totally agree to. Many of the fragrances are very daring, funky, different. So Tom Ford does that. He worked with very prestigious brands like YSL and I believe Gucci. He was the creative director, so until he started his own thing. So Tom Ford basically is known for his daring creations out there, if I may say so. Second thing is this fragrance I saw first time in our group with one of our brothers called Nigel Gomez. I call him Dada because he's my elder brother from India. He's a musician. He's one of my best friends, well-wishers, and I would say very close to my heart. He's like one of the guys I really respect, love as a brother. Okay, so he posts some of the fragrances. You just see them and you know exactly the sentiments that people portray. Like they love this perfume. So he posted this, and I just immediately knew his description made me wanna try it. Okay. Third thing before I start, this fragrance bottle is, as you can see, they have many fragrances released from different line. They look like this bottle. If you haven't seen any, let me give you some example. Like couple would be like gray vetiver EDP or black orchid. Okay, black orchid. I have couple of bottles. I'm gonna take a little bit time because I want to talk about everything that I want to talk about. Yeah, and then this is the Black Orchid EDP. You recognize this one, and then Orchid Soleil. I think this one is one of my favorite fragrances based on Orange Blossom. So they also have Sahara Noir, few other lines. They have quite a few fragrances in this bottle. So don't be confused. You should make sure see the name then buy. So this is how the packaging looks. I really think this is stunning. Why? Even though the bottle doesn't look as pretty as the other ones with that transparent cap, but I tell you what, when you look, it gives that vintage version. Okay, imagine putting it next to a leather belt or something, leather bag. It will give this very vintage version with that vintage look to it. That juice color looks like whiskey, and got this plate here in front. I think this bottle looks really nice, elegant. These bottles are very sophisticated, sort of like a ring on the neck. Okay, the base you'll get your sticker. So I don't know. I thought they were discontinued, but they seem to be still in production. 2020. I see someone posted. They say they have a 220 bottle, which is not as long lasting. Okay, we'll see. Talk about it. It's on the paper already dried down. Man, so lovely. Let me tell you some good things about this perfume. Let's show you the spread. Okay. This fragrance I wore it on my skin like back to back 2 days to test. Performance on this for an EDT was not bad at all. It's not massive like some of the other Tom Fords, but it gave me solid like 6.5 hours total longevity. Projection was like 1.5 hour to 2 hours, but the first hour it projects really well, and it has this sparkly bright opening. I get a lot of freshness from it, some herbaceous quality from it, but it turns out to be dry down, totally different fragrance. But I have to read out the notes from Fragrantica because there are tons of notes. This perfume has so many notes, so difficult to remember. So let this settle down on the paper. Let me read out the notes. So basically, thanks to Fragrantica, it was released of 2011 if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 2007. Okay. So let's talk about the notes. Top notes: lemon leaf oil, interesting. Ginger, mandarin orange, big player in this. Bergamot, basil, violet leaves. Sorry. Middle notes are tobacco leaf, pepper, Tunisian orange blossom, neroli, and grapefruit blossom. Okay. And base notes you get amber, cedar, Virginian patchouli, vetiver, oak moss, leather, cypriol oil, or nargamota. Okay. So basically what you see when you see the nose breakdown, you see it's a complex fragrance. It's a very complex nose breakdown. It's not a simple typical you spray this and you get it immediately. No such thing. But there's a big blast of orange. And the thing is, I heard dear brother Nigel Bhai, he said he gets this sort of like orange liquor like a boozy orange, which you definitely get, like a presence is felt in this one. I love that orangey vibe from it, and somehow I feel like there's something like a mint going on, but there's a basil. It could be one of these herbaceous green notes, but there's definitely fresh citrusy opening. It welcomes you with like a freshness. So even if there's amber, pepper, that nargamota or tobacco, they will come much later on the dry down. So I really love that opening. It's kind of like Amalfi, lemony, citrusy, orangey. That opening is just stunning. It's so well done. This fragrance gets compared to another fragrance I'll show you in a bit. I think they have a lot of similarity, but this is better built, definitely. Man, it's so nice. It's just so, that opening is so beautiful. It's kind of like, also you can think it's a sour fruit with touch of green bitterness. Okay, what I mean by that, yeah, you get that orange, but imagine you took a bite at orange, but you by mistake bit on the orange peel a little bit, so you get that squeeze of that bitter juice coming out at the same time with the pulpy fruit. So it's that leafy, a little bit bitter, green, aromatic orange opening. So the citrus, everything is beautiful, but it's still a little bit more mature opening. I would imagine Chanel would create something like it. You know, Chanel's classic, Guerlain's classic, like Shalimar, if you know their citruses. This definitely reminds me of it. That's why Tom Ford is so talented. You know, like his perfumers, his view, his vision, perfect. So that's the opening. That it transits slowly, smoothly within that amber and tobacco territory. And the tobacco, it's not really a massive tobacco. It's not a tobacco vanille or Burberry's. What is that fragrance? Burberry Breed? No, I forgot. Burberry's. Damn. You know the code? Yeah, it's not Mr. Burberry. You know, at times you forget stuff. Burberry. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this is not a massive, that tobacco like pure Havana tobacco, but it blends in nicely. The tobacco note is blended nicely. And the peppery kick is not that super peppery or spicy, but Tom Ford does the spicy thing so well, they make it sexy. So this fragrance turns sexy as the dry down approaches. And you smell like, I'm smelling something that's new. This doesn't smell like anything else out there, you know. So even if you have a huge collection, high likely you'll not have so many fragrances. Like Aventus has so many inspired exact fragrances, you get so confused. Or something like more popular ones, you know. This one doesn't quite do that. Very unique it stays. So I think it's sort of this vintage feel, okay, and with that creamy orange peel, and it just stays fresh somewhat. It stays kind of like spicy somewhat. You like get so many things from this fragrance so many times. So you smell it different times, it gives you different things. So I like that about it. You know, it's like very entertaining fragrance, right? So it gets compared to, if even, you know, to this perfume, you can see their themes kind of similar. This Vera Wang for men, and I absolutely love this, and I also find it similar to Dolce & Gabbana 180, right? So yeah, if you love those, you might like it, but okay, differences first. Those fragrances do not have quite the opening of this one. This one is the magical opening, which this one makes it set apart, okay? So that's where the Tom Ford is different. But if you talk about the dry down, more than the 180, that one is a little bit grapefruit. Yeah, it's there, but I don't find it so much similar to this, okay? That one is a tobacco heavy one, but this one for the amber, Vera Wine for Men, this is a fragrance you can get. The dry down, it's very close to this, very, very close. You'll see Fragrantica, people agree. And I find this is Will Smith's signature scent. It's a wedding scent. They made especially for people, men who are getting married. And I think this fragrance is very special in its own ways. People do not look at this house because of how underrated this perfume is. So I'm not saying buy this as alternative of this, but if you find this too expensive, okay, and if you just want something similar to this kind, the amber in this one will meet your craving for much cheaper price tag, okay? So that's the similarity, but you can get either one, that one or the one. They have the same family, but this is a lot more grapefruit, like ginger is there as well. So you'll find some similarity, but this one, the tobacco is very heavy, unlike this one. So overall, I think coming to an end, this is a classic vintage. This will go down in history as one of the most vintage smelling fragrances. Subtle, quite decent lasting, and it has its own thing going. It's not trying to follow a pattern or a trend. This is a statement of its own, right? Tom Ford is one of his most unique perfumes. So if you do like all those descriptions I told you, man, that what you call the neroli orange blossom, it's just so stunning. It's a fragrance. It's just worth like testing. You know, any Tom Ford fragrance, this is their brilliance. Okay, Even if you do not like it, you'll absolutely respect the concept they went for. Conceptually, this fragrance is 10 out of 10. It's like a architect's dream building. You know, they constructed this perfume with a lot of love, lot of planning, lot more years of research. This is a result to that. Okay, so yeah, it's an architect's dream fragrance. Okay, yeah, as an architect, you can make this your signature scent. Lovely. I feel at some point could be unisex as well. Yeah, so nice. I just have to remember that name of the Burberry. It's a little bit bothering me because I'm OCD. Hold on. Yeah, the moment I pause, I remember Burberry's London. You know, I love that perfume. It has this beautiful tobacco note to it with the port wine. Every fragrance has its own thing going. So if you love those fragrances that I mentioned, try this one out. If you get this within $100 budget somewhere as a tester, it would be a great buy. I would say perfect seasons to wear this in summertime, but in the AC condition. But fall is the time to wear this one. Okay, it will be just beautiful. If you have a leather jacket on and put this one on, you'll get compliments from people. They will tell you you're wearing something totally unique. Check it out, Tom Ford for men. Overall, this fragrance, I told you already, I don't have the box here. Okay, this fragrance, bottle, conceptually, the smell, everything, you know, like I like to give this 10. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna hold back like, oh, it's 9. It's not a quite beast mode. It doesn't have to be beast mode. Okay, and I think there's an absolute or a bit darker version of it, which is longer lasting. I want to try that as well, but this for me, for the smell and that uniqueness, and this is a 10. Beautiful vintage fragrance. Check it out, and thanks doctor for your bottle, and time for morning walk. Bye bye.